Hello, everyone. We're so excited to be here today with our special guest, Mrs. Charley Anderson. And she's going to be talking with us today about the cannabis business. And once again, let's talk cannabis with Angel Crawford. Hello, Charley. How are you?
Oh, gosh, I'm very well, and I'm very excited to be here today with this particular topic because when you approached me and we talked about it, I was like, oh my God, there's somebody that's on the same page that I'm on with this that I can actually talk to about it. So I'm very excited to be here and very excited. I already learned so much off camera when I got here, so I'm just excited and happy to talk about it and learn some more.
Well, that is the purpose of our show, really, is to actually inform the audience, let the viewers know what opportunities lie within this new multi-billion-dollar industry, and also to give you the information to make those decisions to decide where you can become a part of this new industry. So now let's get to talk about you a little bit, Charley. Let the viewers know a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So I'm an attorney. I've been practicing law in the state of New York for 20 years. This year was my 20th year anniversary. I've represented entertainers. I do a lot of contracts and negotiations. Now, for some reason, I guess because in my generation, everybody's parents are passing, I'm doing a lot of probate work. I'm finding myself in surrogates court a lot with wills and trusts. And then the entertainment industry is kind of shifting. So now I'm seeing a lot more reality show contracts than anything else. But I am retired after 20 years of practicing, and I was looking for another opportunity or something else to get involved in. And in seeing the growth of the medicinal cannabis industry, it's fascinating. And it's mostly fascinating because I know people who have been treating themselves medicinally with cannabis for over 50 years.
I think we all know someone that has done that.
So, you know, the whole structure, the whole legalization of it, and the whole recognizing that it is purposeful for medicating and treating people and helping people just get a better quality of life. I'm like, how can I move this forward? What can I do? How can I be involved in it? Because it's so important. And you see so many, as we were talking before, it's like you turn on the TV and you see a commercial that says, if you take this product, it can cause kidney failure and heart palpitations and all kind of different things. And they're selling this, they're marketing this, it's legal. And here you have something that comes from the earth that can help people, that's natural. And the whole reason why we can't use it medicinally now is because there was no way to monetize it for the people who could put all of the regulations on it and make it now difficult for the people who've been selling it for the last 50 years to actually be involved in the industry.
Well, Charley, you've actually touched on many points that we would like to elaborate today on the show, because I believe that a lot of the same inquisitiveness that you have, others have just as well. And I guess one of the first things I would like to talk to you about, you know, just kind of tapping into a little bit of your background and your career, because one of the biggest issues I believe right now when you think about the whole legalization of marijuana is how does it impact the people that have been criminalized for it?
And, you know, that's, I don't even know what to say about that, because I don't know, or I don't know that anybody knows how we're going to bring those people who were in there who committed crimes that are not really crimes. How do we get those people out, and how do we get those people back in the street? And we have like every state in America that has people incarcerated for what is no longer a criminal. And the unfortunate thing is most of those people who are incarcerated look like us.
Yes. Yes.
You know, they look like us, and and it's sad. And I hope that I recently read somewhere, but I didn't want to talk about it because I'm really not that knowledgeable about it. But I really did read somewhere that there was some legislation in some state that was actually allowing these people to come back up before the judges and get released if they had like minor infractions.
Well, I believe I've heard something similar to that, and that's where I was hoping you would be able to enlighten me on, because I've heard that they begin to, I don't know if it's the proper terminology, give some pardons, or they're really beginning to kind of backtrack some of those previous cases and, looking at them now, because now, let me just ask this question, because I was told this. Now, I was told, of course, because it's been legalized for medicinal purposes, that they have to adjust the laws at this point. And they've done some modifications right here in the state of New York when it comes down to, marijuana from an illegal standpoint. Now, are you aware of that law? Can you tell us what that consists of right now?
I'm not aware of the specific laws, but I'm aware of the trend.
Okay.
And the trend has been that for most of the states that have legalized medicinal marijuana, they have changed their laws so that small quantities of marijuana, if you're found with a small quantity of marijuana on you, it's not a big criminal offense, like maybe it's a misdemeanor or you get a desk ticket or something like that, but you don't get hauled in like you used to get hauled in. And that speaks to the point of how do they rectify this now that they have all of these people, And the thing is that because I think that the people who have been in there for long periods of time who have not finished whatever they got the sentence, 2 years, 18 months, or what have you, I think that probably the new people that are coming in, that are being arrested for having a small quantity, those are the first people that they're saying, okay, we're not even gonna put this through the system, or we're gonna just give a desk ticket and make this go away. But it's the people who are in there already, who have already served time, that are already caught up into it, that are probably gonna be more affected, because we're not reaching back that far into where they are to try to get them out. I think that the new folks who are getting tickets now, for example, I had someone come to me recently, and I really don't do criminal law. I had a criminal law partner named Victoria Brown.
Yes.
I do more of the civil at my practice, and I had someone call me recently who, I think he said he had already finished smoking, and maybe the officer came around and smelled that he had been smoking, like he was not seen with the marijuana cigarette in his hand, and he got a ticket, a misdemeanor ticket, but he still has to go and appear before the judge. But they're still in New York, at least, they're still enforcing, like, if I smell marijuana, you have to get a ticket. The police can still be involved. It's not like they're just going to say, oh, we only see one joint, that he's smoking right now, so we're going to walk away. He probably doesn't have any more. They're still going to do the investigations, and they're still going to try to run something into the system. But now it's lighter. Now you're getting a desk ticket. Now you're not getting jailed and have to stay overnight to see the judge in the morning. They're not taking you in and fingerprinting you and everything else. Now they're kind of giving you tickets. And I know in a lot of states that have legalized the medicinal use, they have also changed their laws with regard to how much you can legally have in your possession before it becomes a big criminal offense.
From a recreational standpoint.
From a recreational standpoint, yes.
Now, that was what I was told about New York State. However, I'm not familiar with the actual amount that quantifies that, but I was told there's a certain amount.
It's like 2 joints or something. It's like something. It's like something bizarre.
These are the things I'm sure most of you guys want to know out there.
Well, when I come back, I will have that information, because I actually didn't know that we were going to talk about the criminalization part so much.
Well, like I say, I'm sure some of the viewers, when they say we have our attorney here, Charley, one of the biggest questions they want to talk about, because a lot of the people that I speak to regarding the whole legalization of marijuana is like, okay, what happens to those people that are incarcerated now for those small amounts? How does it impact them, and what changes, or how do we rectify that? How do we justify that?
You know what I honestly feel like? I feel like by the time the system catches up to them, they will have served their time and they will be out. I don't think that there's a thrust toward, let's identify these people and let's release them. It's very unfortunate, because something like that, I mean, that's a whole nother space. That's a whole nother space, because like I said, I don't think that anybody is saying, oh, well, look up all of these infractions and get all of these people over here and let's, tell them, okay, your time is served. They still already served the time. But I think moving forward, we're going to see a lot more recreational use.
Well, I can say right now, as of lately, I see there's kind of a shift in the atmosphere here in New York in the public streets with, just actually smelling marijuana publicly. And I'm talking about in some of your most highly trafficked business areas during peak times of the day. So, I don't know if that's an indication of, the legalization of marijuana in the state of New York for medicinal purposes and people feeling a little more comfortable with having these smaller amounts and just kind of, taking that hit of relief throughout the day or to take the edge off at work or whatever it is that's causing this thing to happen.
People have been doing it forever, taking the edge off at lunchtime. But like you said, you didn't smell it.
Right.
Like now you can be on 42nd Street by the park there.
Bryant Park.
Bryant Park.
Yes.
You can walk through Bryant Park at lunchtime and be like, oh.
And you think you're there on 420 or something.
Exactly. And then and in the evening and sometimes in the morning. Like I have this joke because I live in Harlem and a lot of times, you'll get on the train and somebody will smell like weed in the morning.
Yes.
And I'm always like, I hope people don't think that's me. Because I walked right in with it, or behind the person.
We don't know who it came from.
So early in the morning. But, people have been doing it for the longest time. But the beauty about it being legalized for me is for medicinal purposes, for those people who really need it. So now they don't have to go to Colorado or they don't have to take. I was watching a documentary where people were actually having to take their children to get them to relief from Tourette's and those type of syndromes where marijuana is so helpful. They're finding it so helpful for them and they can't get it in their home state. So could you imagine having to pack up everything to save your child? Like I have to leave my job, my income. I have to leave my family and friends so that I can save my child. So I think it's wonderful that so many states have legalized it. But then I also think it's wonderful that there will be opportunities coming for that. And I just want to figure out, how do we get the opportunities for the people who have been in this business all this time? How do you get involved? Because the regulatory scheme is crazy.
Well, I believe what's happening right now, everything's in the gray. And I believe when you're talking about getting involved, there's so many ways to get involved. It's more about finding your niche. Between you and I, there will never be a time in our lives that we would see an industry from inception.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So this is revolutionary for us.
Right.
To be able to be a part of something from its inception, from the beginning of the industry, ground floor up. So when you look at it from that angle, that means there is an abundance of opportunities. It's just about finding the appropriate fit. And the most important thing, I believe, in being able to find the fit is just knowing what's available, having the information to make that informative decision and to kind of know which angle to pursue. Now, when we're talking about medicinal marijuana, as we were speaking about it, one of the things that, is very appealing to me, because I have always been one, when we're talking about from a health level, I really practice more holistic, okay? And as we all are aware, within the day's world, it's all about healthy living, healthy lifestyle.
Absolutely.
And all of a sudden now you can see they're really pushing very organic foods, natural, everything's natural.
Yes.
So when we go back to the naturalness, and that's what marijuana is, it's a herb from the earth. When you look at marijuana, it comes from herb. It's a herb from the earth. So it is something that's within this plant, like most plants that we have in the world, because every medicine that we have is extracted from a plant, guys.
Exactly.
Everything comes from some source of plant or some element of life.
And when it's synthetic, that's when you have all kinds of problems.
Right, because that means it's been tampered with. It's not in its natural form. So when you think about medicinal marijuana, and one of the greatest things I believe that medicinal marijuana offers is no side effects. See, when you think about medication, and that's one of the reasons why I've never wanted to take medicines. Even now when I go to the doctor, they can prescribe me antibiotics, they can prescribe me anti-inflammatory, whatever they prescribe me. I'm always looking for a natural ailment.
Turmeric for inflammation.
Exactly.
And whatever.
Exactly. I have
Exactly.
So I use turmeric. So I'm always looking for that natural thing. And just even learning to cook with natural ingredients without using salts and peppers. And if you use some of these fruits and vegetables and spices spices and herbs, you can have some of the most robust flavors and things of that nature. It's all natural, but you just got to know how to get it and where it comes from.
Exactly.
The source.
Exactly.
So, and I think that's where we're going to go from here, because now we're going to look at the source and what makes that marijuana a healing element. So most of us, when we think about marijuana from, just that recreational use and having fun from, some of our friends in college.
Something? You know what I always thought about when I watched shows that had Indians smoking that peace pipe?
What?
That came from the ground. They smoke that for unity and beauty, and I know after you smoke that, everything looks wonderful. Everything is beautiful. Everybody is my friend.
Everything comes into harmony.
Came from the ground.
It's so funny because just by making that statement, I must agree with you. I remember when I was younger and in college, and was being introduced to various types of drugs and things of that nature. And if you want to explore, and one of the things I thought about with marijuana versus other drugs was like, well, this comes from the earth, so it can't be too bad.
It's a plant.
Just like
it's a plant.
Exactly. And that was always my thing. Like, well, maybe it's not that bad after all, because it is a natural thing, although it supposedly gets you high, but it comes from the earth. So
supposedly.
But anyhow, as you can see, just talking about things like this, it kind of gives you your euphoric high, and it just kind of heightens your awareness, and it kind of gives you this whole sense of just feeling good. And just
but it's funny, it's something that everybody did. Like I didn't inhale, but you tried it.
And you have
everybody does it.
Everybody, right? And all of a sudden you're laughing and talking just as much as the person that did. So I believe it does have that type of effect as well. But now, when you start to think about it, when you're looking at this whole new multi-billion-dollar industry, there are so many avenues to explore. Okay, and that's one of the things we want to do, is open up that gateway of opportunity to show you the various avenues that one can explore. And let's just start there, because today what I've done, I've actually brought in some various CBD products,
right.
Just to kind of show you the various opportunities that lie within this industry.
Mm-hmm.
So one of our first products we're going to look at is called CBD for Life. Now, this is actually a hand lotion body cream, and it's actually built with or created from the CBD, which is the medicinal extract of marijuana, a natural element.
Oh, it smells good. It smells like it has some eucalyptus in it. I don't know. What does that smell?
Well, actually, it's not eucalyptus. It's actually the scent from the marijuana itself.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's nice.
Now, basically what this does is actually an anti-inflammation lotion. It's a pain reliever, anti-inflammation. And it also promotes anti-aging. It rejuvenates
You can
your
use this
cells.
on your face?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So it's a massage lotion. So it has a lot of benefactors because of the CBD.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So once again, this is a beauty cosmetic line.
Wow.
They're talking about medicinal, but they're using these same elements to put it into different forms.
Yeah.
So now you can get a beauty product that gives you those same additional effects.
Wow.
It's pure
That's
CBD.
Amazing. I love it. Wow.
Now, when we start thinking
Look at
about
this, created with the healing powers of nature. I love it.
the future of healing,
Yes.
CBD is the future of healing, and it's not only the future, but it's the natural element.
Wow. So my question would be on that. So obviously there are going to be places where you can, like, say for example, I have a cousin who does shea products. She does shea. Yeah, she does shea. She imports the shea from wherever she imports it from, and she makes products. So if she wanted to use CBD in her products, like, how does that happen? Do you have to have some kind of special license because this is a product of cannabis?
Well, see, now these are the things that we need to explore.
Those are the things that I need to figure out, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But now, once again, it varies state to state. Now,
Yeah.
once again, this is still being regulated. Now, in New York
Right.
State, I can speak to this a little bit, but that's the whole purpose of the show. We're going to bring in many different key players from the legal standpoint, regulatory, manufacturers, suppliers,
that's amazing.
packaging.
That's
So
amazing.
this way we can get all that information. But one thing I know for certain is here in New York State, they have actually limited amount of dispensaries. they actually allocated six licenses, which all have been allocated to the dispensaries already. So that part of the opportunity gate is closed for now.
Now, see, I did know that because I researched that. Because at one time I did have a storefront, and I was thinking, in terms of what could I do to monetize in the future. And I thought about that, and I saw that that there were only 6 licenses, and I was thinking to myself, well, and that's for the state, right?
Yes, for the entire state of New York. But once again, this is the way. At this moment, they're looking to try to control and regulate it. And once again, in all fairness to the state, it is very new. It's very new, so you don't want this to kind of come out too full force and not being able to control it and put the proper structure
and it to look like
into
liquor
place.
stores.
Exactly. So we wouldn't want this to be misused and abused.
Right.
So we want to make sure that coming out, we put the appropriate structure into place, and like anything else, it's more like a beta mode. We're going to give a few licenses out, see how it works, see what things happen, tweak the laws, and create it. And then at that point, I believe they're going to open up the gates more.
Right.
That's my take on that. But there are a lot of opportunities now. When you're looking at this and you're talking about creating this product, now you're talking about you can actually get the CBD and utilize it in any other type of beauty cosmetic. For example, a facial cream. So there's a whole industry that you can explore if you wanted to go in the cosmetics field and you're looking for something new, a new hot item. This is your new hot item.
Wow.
CBD is the new hot item.
Wow.
Okay,
I love
so
it.
now let's talk about another way we can actually explore it, peripheral devices. Now, because of course, you're going to have this product out there, okay? Now, once again, as I was stating here in the New York State, you cannot inhale it in a smokable form such as a joint. However, you can digest it through the liquid form in what's called vapor pens.
Right.
So vape pens are very popular. It's like a huge industry, and we have tons of different manufacturers. They come in all shapes, sizes, and just different types. But this is a vape pen created by Drop Smoke. And as you can see, it actually has a chamber that holds the oil, and you vaporize
for the medicine.
it. Now, the greatest thing about this is I believe this is one of the reasons I'm smelling so much of aroma of marijuana in New York right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the vape pens.
I was in a club not too long ago, and with some friends, and they offered it to me. They were like, "Hey, you want some?" I was like, "What the heck is that?" And they said, "Oh, it's weed." I was like, "Weed? What are you talking about?" Yeah, and it's in a club. So now, and I notice also, even when you're watching things on television and you see club scenes, sometimes you see somebody with one of these. It could very well be this. I know sometimes it's the hookahs.
Well, there are different forms. We have the e-cigarette now.
Right, right.
So these are all vaporizers in different forms. So you can vaporize nicotine. You can vaporize medicinal marijuana, CBD. And also, there's 2 different chambers you can purchase for these vape pens, because there's the one that you can have the vape pen for recreational use, which you actually use a THC. Okay, and then there's the one if you're using the vape pen for medicinal use, your actual chamber would be a CBD oil versus a THC oil. So it depends on which direction you're going with the recreational medicinal. But once again, these are the things that's kind of keeping it very inconspicuous, I guess.
Yeah.
You can kind of, it's portable, you whip it out. And a lot of places at one time, they had, I think there was a law saying you could use these anywhere where, and that's why e-cigarettes became very popular.
Right.
Because the places you couldn't smoke, you could use a electronic cigarette.
Right.
But I believe now they may be beginning to crack down on some of those laws as well because of this new trend with everything.
Yeah, with
but
things
here's a
burning
whole
and
nother field to explore.
Yeah. I was because the way that we started talking when you first mentioned that to me, I was like, oh my goodness, because I'm looking for that next big thing,
right? That
peripheral device or something that that is necessary, that you're going to have. I mean, I don't know if it's a new pitchfork to dig the ground. I don't know what, but there's so many opportunities, like you said, with even peripheral things. such as those and such as who knows.
Well, once again, I can tell you one thing I know about the peripheral devices. This has exploded. Like, I travel quite a bit. And once again, it's not just about medicinal marijuana, it's for e-cigarettes. So the peripheral devices has a whole litany of opportunities for medicinal marijuana and other things as well.
Yeah.
So once again, there's another opportunity for you to explore if you're looking to get into this business.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing we all must do is eat.
Yes.
We all must eat to survive. So what's even more amazing to me is they are actually creating ways that you can digest medicinal marijuanas through the foods you love to eat. Now, what I brought in today, just to kind of give you guys a preview of it, it's called Canna. And this is actually a Canna CBD-based cooking flavor oil, like an extract, and it's vanilla. So you can use this for baking, making different dishes. And once again,
Is this an over-the-counter product now?
Well, it's over the counter in the states that is legalized in.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I'll be very honest with you. I got this product. This comes from a manufacturer out of Colorado.
Okay.
Okay. So this is being manufactured in Colorado. It's called Canna Flavors. So once again, it's actually an extract that you can put into your various dishes to cook. But once again, it gives you those medicinal effects of CBD right here, digestible. There are also, of course, many other ways to digest it in cookies, brownies, and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So once
Smells
again, this
delicious.
allows you to take it in a form that you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I'm thinking, I'm not really a baker, but like make some cookies.
All of a sudden, you want
some
a brownie.
brownies. I'm telling you, all of a sudden I want to start
All of a sudden,
baking stuff.
you may look into eating more brownies and cakes, right?
Yeah, but healthy ones.
Right. Well, once again, this will be
No
the health factor.
white flour. I'll do flaxseed or something.
Exactly. We're going to keep it all natural and organic.
Yes.
Staying within the trend.
Yes.
Living up to that healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then once again, going back to the vape pen, as I mentioned to you, we have a CBD. So this is what we call Miracle Smoke. This is created by a company called Miracle Smoke. And as you can see, viewers, you may not be able to see this, very small, but this is 10 milliliters. So once again, they actually have it set up because this is CBD. So once again, what you do is they give you a dosage.
But you know what? You keep saying this is CBD. You need
I
to
haven't
explain.
explained it. Well,
what
exactly CBD is.
Yeah.
Because, thank you very much, Charley. What is happening, guys, with medicinal marijuana?